All right. Hey there, fourth and fifth grade. Now, before we get started, I know you're probably looking at the poster behind me and thinking, we don't know how to do that. And don't freak out because we are going to learn it together. So I know that this looks hard and that some of you have struggled with problems like this in the past, but we're going to learn how to solve them today. And we're going to learn different strategies starting this week for double digit multiplication. Double digit multiplication is numbers that have digits in the ones place and the tens place. And last week we talked about solving a two-digit number times a one-digit number. And so now we're going to add that second digit in the tens place. And when we do our practice problems here in a minute, we're actually going to look at some with three digits times two digits. The algorithm or the way that we solve is going to be the exact same every single time, no matter how many digits you have. So let's take a look at this poster and go through together how we're going to solve. Now, I have some characters down here that are going to help us remember the steps. And our little song or chant that you can tell yourself to solve these problems is many zoos, many animals. And that stands for multiply, zero, multiply, add. So we have our multiplying monkey. He is step number one. And you can see that he is red for the most part, and step one is red. So if we go over here to our problem, you can see that I have circled step one in red. And we're going to solve it just like we did the problems last week. We start in our ones place. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, just like last week. We solved our ones. Now we're going to go to our tens. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so that's step number one. We've solved that. We don't do anything with that right there. You see, that's in step number 3. So we don't look at our 5. We just solve step number 1. 3 times 2 and 4 times 2. 6 and 4 times 2, because our 4 is in the tens place, our 8 goes right there. All right? Keep following along. Pause the video and restart it if you need to go back and watch how I did that again. Our second step is zero zebra. Okay, and he is blue because he is step number 2. Now I have a little line here and it's pointing to placeholder. Now we have already solved 3 times 2, so we don't need to solve it again. So we are going to put a 0 because we already solved 3 times 2 and we found out that it was 6. Okay, now we multiply again. This time, you have to, since we've already used the 2, we did that up here. We've multiplied 43 times 2. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying 43 times 50, which is why we put the 0 there. Because if we had a 50 here, 3 times 0 would be 0, and 4 times 0 would be 0. So we put our placeholder in because it is the same thing as saying we've already done 43 times 2. Now we're going to do 43 times 50. So we replace our 2 with a 0. So we're going to do now is we're going to take our 3 times 5. We're multiplying both of these numbers by the digit in the tens place because, like I said in step number 1, we haven't touched the 5 yet. So now we're going to do 3 times 5. Just like in our problems last week, if you get a number that's more than 10, you just carry your 1 like we do in addition. 3 times 5, 5, 10, 15. I'm going to put my 5 in my tens place, and I'm going to carry my 1. Now, I'm not going to immediately bring it down like I did last week because I still have something here to multiply. I have to multiply 4 times 5, which is 5, 10, 15, 20. Now I have to add that 1, just like last week. I said it's going to be very similar from the beginning. 3 times 5, 15. We put our 5 in the tens and we carry our 1. Now we're into this is going to be in our hundreds place. 4 times 5 is 20. We add that 1, 21. And we write it just as we would in addition. We bring that straight down. We don't have any other digits, nothing else to multiply here. So that brings us to step number 4. Oh, by the way, green is multiplying moose. He helped us get that answer, the 215. Zero zebra is standing in here. And then multiplying monkey gave us our first one, 43 times 2. Okay? So we've done 43 times 50 and gotten 2150 with our zero zebra. And don't worry, we're going to do several problems so we can keep coming back and looking at our poster. Don't get overwhelmed yet. Our last step, adding and. Okay? Our A stands for add, and I already have our plus sign in here for us. Now we're going to add these two numbers together, which everybody in this class can do. 6 plus 0 is 6. Even if you got a little bit confused up here, come down and add with us, and then we'll go back and look at that problem again. 8 plus 5. If you need to, draw those touch points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Put your 1s, carry into your 10s, your next place value. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then we have 0 plus 2 is 2. 2,236. If you feel like you need to check your answer, you can grab a calculator, no worries, and just check your answer. 43 times 52 is 2,236. So you can use your parents' phone or a calculator to check your work if you're unsure. But if we use our algorithm and we do it exactly the same way every time, we should never make a mistake unless we accidentally make an error in our multiplication. And then we just have to go back and fix our work. So let's go through what I did here one more time before we get into our practice problems. Many zoos, many animals. Multiply, 0, multiply, add. Step number 1, use multiplying monkey to multiply 43 times 2. We are going to ignore our 5 because we're going to use it later. We have to solve this exactly like we solved the problems last week. You start with your 1s. 3 times 2. I got 6. Still covering up the 5. Now we're going to multiply the 2 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now we said we have to use zero zebra. And we put a 0 in here. Why? Because we've already done 3 times 2. And we solved 43 times 2 in our first step. But the problem is 43 times 52. So we've already done 43 times 2, but now we need to do 43 times 50. We're going to imagine that this is a 0, which is why zero zebra puts a 0 right there. You have to imagine in your brain, we've already done 43 times 2. Now we have to do 43 times 50. So we put our 0 down there because we know that this time 0 is 0 and this time 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, 4 times 0 is 0. 43 times 50 is what we're doing in step number 3. So we've got our 0 in there. Now, we're going to take our top number and multiply it by the tens place in our second number. 3 times 5 is 15. I have 5 1s and a 10, which I'm going to carry over into this column, which is still our tens column, but we have to imagine it kind of like hundreds because we know our answer is going to be bigger. But we don't want to just bring it right down because remember, we have to add it to whatever this is. 4 times 5 is 20. Add 1, bring it down 21. So our answer is 2,150. Adding and is step number 4, and he tells us to add the two numbers together. 6 plus 0, 6. 8 plus 5 is 13. I have 3 1s and a 10, which I carry into my hundreds place. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 0 plus 2 is 2. And we checked our answer with a calculator, so we know that we got that right. Okay, so I'm going to leave the poster up here. I am going to turn the camera slightly so we can still see the poster, but we're going to solve some problems on a whiteboard, and we're going to use our same colors, and we're going to use the same problem solving algorithm. Okay, I'm going to leave the animals up so we can touch them as we go. Okay, so let's solve another double-digit multiplication problem. We're going to do 4 together. So if you're watching the video, write these down and solve them with me so you can do the ones for this week on your own. We're going to do 36 times 24. So feel free, if you have markers at home, to grab the same colors that we used on our poster. Same colors as our animals. Red, blue, green, and pink, which is what I have. So I'm not going to do the circling. We're going to just do it with words, but if you need to go back and look at it, you can. So step number 1, multiplying monkey. Get your red. And in step number 1, we multiply our ones column. Both numbers in the ones column we multiply together. So in our problem here, it would be 6 times 4. And we talked about last week too, you can use any strategy that you want. Let me scoot over so you guys can see me a little bit better and the poster at the same time. Okay, that's better. You can use any strategy that you want. You can use skip counting, you can do touch points, you can do arrays, equal groups, whatever you want. I'm just going to quickly do my skip counting. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And just like in multi-digit addition, we put our ones in the ones column and we carry our tens. Now I'm still going to continue to use my red marker because we're not done with step 1 yet. Now we have to multiply our 3 times 4. And remember, this is the same as multiplying 30 times 4. Okay, so that's why we're using the tens column. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. So what we just did was we took 30 times 4 and 6 times 4 and we added them together. 30 times 4 is 120 plus our 6 times 4 of 24. That's how we got that answer. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 2, which is 0 zebra. Grab your blue and put that 0 under your 4 in the ones place because now we're going to do 36 times 20. 6 times 0 is 0 and 3 times 0 is 0. And we added those together to get 0. And so we're going to put our 0 zebra placeholder in. Ready for step number 3. We're going to start with the number, our ones place in the top, multiplied by our tens. Then we're going to do tens place on the top, multiplied by the tens. So that number here is going to be 6. 6 times 2 is 6, 12, 12. Put your ones and carry. And we use the different colored markers to show which one we have to add next, but we already used this 2, so we can just cross it out so we don't use it again. Now we're going to do our tens column. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Everybody should have been able to do that one. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Now we're getting to our last step, adding ant. Thank you, Multiplying Moose, for your help. Adding ant tells us to add the 2 numbers together. So we are going to add 144 plus 720. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4, 5, 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 1 plus 7 is 8. 864. And if you need to, like I said, feel free to get a calculator out and check your work or have a parent or adult check it using their calculator. We had 36 times 24, 864. Just like we got. Good job. So now let's do another one. Same thing. Feel free to look at the poster, use your colors. We got this. We're going to do 3 more together. Step number 1 is to write down our problem. We're going to do 14 times 92. Step number 1, I'm going to use my red multiplying monkey to do the equivalent of 14 times 2. Remember, we're not even touching our 9 yet. That's for step number 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. Nothing to carry over in that problem. And remember, that's the same as saying 14 times 2, just like we learned how to solve last week. 14 times 2, 28. And we can actually almost do repeated addition to solve that one. Step number 2, 0 zebra. He gets a 0. Because that's like saying 14 times 90. 4 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. We added them together and got 0. Because remember, we said in step number 1, we're taking 4 times 2 plus 10 times 2. And that's how we get this answer. So we did 0 times 0 plus 0 is 0. Now we're going to do top number, both digits, times the tens place of the bottom number. Multiplying moose tells us to multiply 4 times 9. I'm going to use my nines trick. Hold up your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and 6. 6 in my ones place. 3 in my tens. To finish it off, 1 times 9 is 9, because anything times 1 is itself, plus 3, 10, 11, 12. Use my touch points. And adding ant has us add 28 plus 1260. 8 plus 0, 8. 2 plus 6, also 8. And then we just carry down our 1 and our 2. 1288. Let's check our work. Again, check it on a calculator, not calendar. Check it with an adult. 14 times 92, 1,288. All right. We're going to do one more with 2 digits, and then we're going to try our hand at a 3-digit number. If you've watched this far, I bet you're getting the hang of it, and feel free to go back and solve these problems again. Do them again. Follow along with the video every step of the way. That's how we're going to learn. It's okay. This time we're going to do 34 times 27. Step number 1, multiplying monkey, tells us to do our ones place first. Both numbers in the ones place multiply together. 4 times 7, 7, 14, 21, 28, like our Yankee Doodle song. And I did have to carry my 2 into the tens. Now we do the digit in the tens place of the top number times our digit in the ones place of the bottom. Top of the tens, bottom ones. 3 times 7, 7, 14, 21 plus 2, 22, 23. And we added this 2, so I'm going to cross it out so we don't get confused in step 3. Step 2, 0 zebra. Put your 0 in. Step 3, multiplying moose. We're now going to take our top number and multiply it, both of the digits, by the number in the tens place on the bottom. We start over here. Always start with your ones. 4 times 2, 8. 3 times 2, 3, 6. Did a little repeated addition in my head. And then last step, adding ant. Add them together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 6 is 9. 918 is the answer that I got. Let's check our answer. 34 times 27 equals 918. Sorry, I know that calculator is a little hard for you guys to see. 918, 918. All right, getting the hang of it. We're going a lot faster now. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do a 3-digit number. 3-digit number. Same process, same exact steps. Same exact steps. 132 times 26. Step number 1, multiply monkey. Now, even though we have a new digit, it still is the same process. We still start with our ones column, okay? Still start with the ones. 2 times 6 is 12. I have 2 ones and I carried my 10. Now we're going to do 3 times 6. I'm thinking in my head, I need to use a strategy. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Ooh, that one got a little tricky. Good thing I know all of my strategies. And then we carry it into our hundreds and we multiply by the hundreds. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1, 7. Got it. Step 1 is done. Step 2, what color do I need? Red. 0 zebra is blue. Put your 0 in. Same exact thing. We only need 1 0 in these because we're just going to take 132 times 2. We've done 132 times 6. Now we're going to do 132 times 20. Green, multiplying moose. We're going to start. We already did our 0. 2 times 2. That was an easy one, 4. 3 times 2, 6. 1 times 2, 2. That was easy. See? It's not so bad. 2 times 2, 3 times 2, 1 times 2. That was an easy one. And our last step, as we know, adding ant. Add them together. 2 plus 0. 8 plus 4. 1 plus 7 is 8 plus 6. And 1 plus 2. Let's check our work. What did you get? Let's see. 132 times 26 is 3,432. Uh-oh. I made a mistake. So now we have to go back and we have to check our work. All right? No need to freak. It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. No problem. Let's go back. We did 2 times 6. That's 12. And then, oh no, 3 times 6 is 18. I forgot to add my 1 because I didn't cross it off. Uh-oh. So 3 times 6 we said was 18, but I need to add my 1, 19. So that 1 stays the same, but I can cross this one off. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So I did that. All right, now let's check our second row because you never know. Maybe we made another mistake. We put our 0. I put it in the right place because I put it right underneath my 1s. So I know that's okay. I did that good. 2 times 2, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 2, 4. Okay. 3 times 2 is 6. Got that. 1 times 2, 2. Okay, now let's add. 2 plus 2 is 2. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 plus 0 is 2. Maybe that's why I made a mistake, because I can't speak. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 4 is, I have to think. 9, let me draw my touch points. 10, 11, 12, 13. Still carry the 1 into my hundreds place. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 6. Let me check my work. Touch points. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Carried my 1 already. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, let's check our answer again and see if that's right. 3,432. 3,432. So sometimes you can do it all right, still make a small mistake, but you just have to go back and check each and every piece. All right? We did it. We made it through. Not too bad. We used our multiplying monkey, multiply, 0, multiplying moose, and our adding ant to solve these problems. You guys can do that too. Go back, watch the video as many times as you need, and solve these double-digit multiplication problems, okay? We're going to learn another strategy next week that some of you may find easier, some of you may find harder. Remember, we talked about that our main goal in math is to find a strategy that we can use to get the answers right every time, okay? Good luck, guys. You can do it, and if you make a mistake, go back and try again. That's what math's about. We're learning, and mistakes are proof that you're trying, so just keep trying. You will get it, and we got this. Good luck. See you next week.